With what's easily one of the most in-depth operator remasters to date, the return of T-Hunt, a gorgeous map rework to Fortress, which is now in ranked in Pro League, the powerful new PMR 90A2 DMR, which has been given to a bunch of already existing operators, a large amount of operator balancing which focuses on buffs and fun, and hey, Mute's a 2-speed now. He also got a jammer buff as well. We'll talk about it. Oh, and did I mention Maverick frag grenades? We'll get into that more, but it's not just this. I'm happy to say this season has much more content. But not just with content, it's balancing, it's quality of life updates. It just feels so much better this season. It's a massive big step in the right direction. And I want to... what's this? Yes, we have the return of the old startup screen for Rainbow Six Siege, updated with the new branding. But let's of course jump into everything in this season. It will be all timestamped as usual. Hit that like button, sub if you haven't already. Let's get straight into Thatcher. So there's no surprise here that the operator remaster this season is none other than our EMP wielding Brit. As much as he may have wanted to deny it, his EMPs were no longer cutting it in the field. And thanks to the assistance of Osa from Nighthaven, Thatcher has been given an upgrade. Feast your eyes on the EGS Disruptor. This new shoulder-mounted launcher for Thatcher utilizes Thatcher's old EMPs loaded into the device, and allows EMP waves to be blasted through different surfaces and levels with precision and accuracy. Not to mention the scanner as well, which allows Thatcher to know not only what he's disabling, but how long it is disabled for. Now let's get into some specifics. If a defending electronic device is hit by the EMP wave, it will be disabled for 15 seconds. You will have to be roughly 9 or 10 meters within range of the electronic device for the EMP wave to reach it. And it is pretty simple to tell if a gadget is in range or not. Very simply, if it doesn't appear in your scanner, you're not close enough. And also something major to mention here is that he can do this 6 times, way more than he previously could with the old EMPs. Now I know immediately you're probably going to be thinking of this being a replacement to IQ, and it's without a doubt a power creep to IQ, and that was also my first reaction as well, but it does act a little bit differently. And that is the fact that if the gadget has not already been initially pinged, that even counts for default cameras, said gadget will appear as unknown on the scanner. It will still show up on the scanner, as you can see, but it will just be an unknown dot. It won't show you what gadget it is specifically. Now, I want to note something. On the build I am currently playing, the only way to have the gadget appear on the scanner is to either drone said gadget and ping it manually, or bring in IQ, which in the same sense is still pinging the gadget. She just has a different way of doing it with her scanner. Doesn't really matter what method you use to ping the gadget, whether that's using a drone, your in-body view, or IQ for example, it all has the same effect of revealing it on the scanner. Or if you EMP blast that gadget, which is unknown, it will then detect that gadget and go on to show you every other gadget of that specific one. So what I mean is, if there's 3 Thunderbird Kona stations across the map and you EMP blast one of them and it detects it then as well, that means the other 2 Kona stations will also appear on the scanner when you get into their radius as well. They won't be the unknown dot anymore. And there is some stuff I want to point out as well. If you scan an operator, so if I scan a bandit by using my drone and holding down for the red ping, and now he's revealed at the top of the screen on the HUD, that doesn't then mean that the bandit batteries will also appear on the scanner. They'll still be the unknown dots. Look at this clip right now. Valkyrie is revealed at the top of the screen. I find the Valk cam to confirm that is one of the unknown dots I am looking at. And as you can see on the scanner, it doesn't know it's a Valk cam until I either manually ping the camera or I EMP it. The operator doesn't reveal their own gadget. And also vice versa. If I was to EMP blast a wall and then I learn that's a bandit charge I just blasted, it also doesn't scan bandit at the top of the HUD. Remember, I am playing on an earlier build, which is before the test server build, so I don't know if that's going to be the final product of it. It doesn't necessarily massively hinder Thatcher's ability here, and it does kind of keep IQ in play a bit more. However, I wouldn't say this is the most streamlined way to do it, so keep in mind this may not be the final iteration of how that works, but I thought that was worth noting. That being said though, he works like an absolute charm. Just take a look at this little clip of me and Garfield, where we're both pushing through showers on the new version of Fortress, which is now a doorway here instead of window, and you'll see more of that in this video. But I know they have a Denari. I'm saying, right, we're going to go for a push here, so I disable the Denari traps on his doorway, and he's able to push up and take more ground. The more intel you get, the stronger Thatcher is going to be. And although a gadget may be hidden on the HUD, you can sort of suss out what they are most of the time. For example, if you see an electrified wall and you see a gadget at the top of it, it's very likely that's where the Electroclaw is, and you can zone in on that. As with everything new that comes to this game, it's going to be a lot easier to understand when it's in your hands. It's way more in-depth than the EMPs were, but it's also very quick and easy to understand, and it is going to allow for a deeper level of play with Thatcher, in my opinion. And of course, you can practice all of this in T-Hunt and a bunch of the really good changes which are now in the training mode, and we'll get into that later in this video. But let's take a closer look at the new PMR 90A2 DMR, the brand new cross-operator weapon which has been given to 4 attackers: Thatcher, Hibana, Capitao, and Nook. This hasn't replaced any weapon which is already in their kit, meaning, and I guessed this correctly, Thatcher is now the first operator to have 4 primary weapon options. I don't know about you, but that feels very fitting for Thatcher. And for those of you who wanted a stronger primary weapon for Nook, here's a DMR. Hey, Capitao has this as well. This is going to make him even better at clearing Azami out of clubhouse rafters, for example. And Hibana can use a mixture of her gadget and weapon to open up long line of sights and then proceed to hold them down. This new weapon, which is inspired by the MSG-90A2, which is originally based on the PSG-1, helps bring some serious firepower with this update, doing 62 damage per shot, whilst also having a magazine size of 20 plus 1 in the chamber. Mixed with the fact that you have 7 magazines with high destruction, this easily makes it one of the best weapons in any operator's kit you give it to. This might actually be the go-to weapon now for every single operator who just got it. Not only are DMR strong, they can also counter Azami and open up hatches. Bring together the good fire rate, the damage, the ammo capacity. This is, without a doubt, the strongest weapon which has been added to Siege in years. It looks clean, it gives you that classic counter-terrorism feel. It's incredible. Now, whilst we're on the topic of weapons, I feel like right now is a great time to talk about a quality of life update which has came to secondaries, which I feel everyone needs to see. And if you've got a keen eye, you may have actually already noticed it already. But in this season, there is a quality of life update coming to pistols, which makes them further back from your screen, giving you a wider field of view and allowing you to be way more precise with pistols. This may not sound crazy to some people, but I am not joking. I did not know this when I loaded up the test server. I switched to my secondary weapon, my jaw dropped, and this is genuinely the best way to use pistols in Rainbow Six Siege. It feels so damn good. Like, take a look at the comparison from Year 10 Season 3's build to now this test server for Year 10 Season 4. You can see more of the screen. Your hand and weapon isn't covering up stuff. They just feel better. You can see more. It's incredible. I can only explain so much. When you load up the game and you feel this change, as minor as it may sound to some people, it is genuinely night and day. It's incredible. At least the early reveal panel I saw, they didn't even talk about this, and they should, because this is such a good change. Also, on top of this, switching your weapons is just so much faster now as well. It feels more fluid. It feels quicker. Putting the pistol change on top of that as well, it just feels so much better to use your guns this season. This change should have happened with the launch of Siege X. And I'm not going to bash them for anything, because maybe that wasn't their idea then, and maybe this is something that was cooked up recently. But this genuinely has elevated gunplay beyond what we've had before. I know it might sound like, oh wow, they've only made switching faster and moved the gun back a little bit, but just play it. You'll see what I mean when this season comes out. It feels so good. Right, I've got a long list to go through here, so let's jump into operator balancing. Now, this is the first season since they've changed their philosophy of focusing on buffs and fun, and they're sticking to their word. The majority of these changes are all buffs, and in the parts where they have had to nerf an operator, they have done a compensatory buff instead. So that means, hey, we're nerfing this bit, but to compensate for this, we're going to make this part of the operator better. It softens the blow. Right, let's start with Mute, because not only has he received buffs, there has been a change to how his jammers work. Now, they have been buffed also, and we'll talk about that, but the state which Mute jammers apply, which is known as the deseg effect, has had some changes, which in turn, yes, you can say it is a nerf to Mute in some aspect, but the buffs they've done to compensate for that and the overall effect it's had isn't that massive. So very comfortable to say that Mute is in a good position, and he did get good buffs. But let's stop yapping and talk about it. So they have tidied up the deseg effect which the jammers provide. In the current build of the game, if Thermite places a Thermite charge on the wall and there's a Mute on the other side, it is going to jam that Thermite charge, because the connection between Thermite's detonator and his Thermite charge has been blocked. That makes sense. But did you know, in the current build, if Thermite himself is in the radius of the Mute jammer and his Thermite charge isn't, the connection isn't blocked? That doesn't really make sense. How can the connection only be blocked one way? Well, they've tidied this up in Year 10 Season 4. So now both the source, being Thermite, and the gadget, being the exothermic charge, will both have the same effect applied to them. If the Thermite charge is in a Mute jammer, it's jammed. If Thermite himself is in a Mute jammer, he's jammed. But this also means that gadgets which aren't remotely detonated are no longer affected by Mute, one of them being Ace. I mean, let's truly think about it. Ace's gadget is water that seeps into the metal and then expands, causing it to break. At no point does he manually activate this from a detonator like Thermite. There is no connection between Ace and his gadget. There is nothing for Mute's jammer to actually jam. His gadget just simply activates its process the moment it makes contact with a surface. So, yeah, Mute's jammer shouldn't actually affect Ace, and it no longer does. Now, to compensate for stuff like this, both Mute and Ace have had some changes. And I do think there may be more Mute interactions like this as well, but I hope you can understand I just don't have the time to do that for this video. I have limited time on this server to make these videos before the reveal. I'll try do it when the public test server comes out. But Ace does seem to be the biggest operator that gains from this now. So what they've done to Mute now because of this is that he is now a 2-speed 2 armor instead of a 1-speed 3 armor, so he's faster, and now his Mute jammers have a larger radius, meaning they can cover more of the doorway, heck, even cover more of the breach. They still won't reach the very top of the breach, but they cover significantly more than they did before. So yeah, although Ace is now immune to Mute, Mute's now a 2-speed and has larger jamming radiuses. That's a trade-off I can live with. Now, all the other hard breachers have had buffs as well, and because Ace is a bit stronger because he can bypass Mute, he has had to have some tweaks because of that, and I think this is fair. With Year 10 Season 4, Ace is now a 1-speed 3 armor. Having one of the best hard breaching devices, having one of the best primary weapons, and now being able to bypass Mute, I think it's fair to drop him down a speed. You don't need to be going that fast with Ace anyway. But to compensate for the fact that he is now slower, they have given him flash grenades, which is a very valuable part of his kit. I don't really see either of these as nerfs, I just see them as rebalances, because they're both going to be insanely good operators after this, and I think they're in better positions, so yeah. Right, let's move on to some more buffs. Yippee! Thermite has been given an extra exothermic charge, pushing him up to a grand total of 3 Thermite charges. Not only this, he now has the ITA-12S pocket shotgun as an extra option. Some of you may be wondering, where's the ballistic shield? Oops, I got it wrong this time. I can't be 100% all the time, that is why they're theories. I am sorry for getting it wrong though. However, there are really good buffs to Thermite here. An extra Thermite charge is an extra Thermite charge. He can open up 3 walls now. That's brilliant. And now the option of a secondary shotgun giving Thermite soft destruction ability. Oh boy, we are back, Thermite bros. Woo! Not really much else to say there. That's just an incredible buff. More utility and now soft destruction. Yeah, Thermite, I love you. Right, let's move over to Maverick. Maverick has received frag grenades. I can't even say this without smiling. Maverick has grenades. I know, I could see you smiling right now. I could see you through your screen. You are smiling. I agree. This is fun. He has also been given the Reaper Mark II machine pistol as a secondary weapon option, and he has had a change to his blowtorch where he no longer has to reload it. Well, he kinda does once, but it's more of a longer, consistent stream rather than the different burst intervals that he currently has, where it's like, oh, that's one mag done, wait for it to reload, blah, 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 you know, burn, burn, burn. Oh, now we gotta wait for it to reload, it's overheated, blah, blah, blah. It's just one long continuous stream coming from this blowtorch, and it says what you have like one in the chamber, and it does reload at one point, but then you have another one to use. So technically there's still one reload left, but it's much longer, much less breaks between it. It's just cleaner with the blowtorch. Beautiful update to Maverick. Chef's kiss. The nades, the Reaper, the cleaner gadget usage. Love it. We're not done yet with the buffs though. Check out Hibana. You guys are gonna love this one, okay? There is now no longer a reload after she shoots her gadget. Look at this! This is exactly what we needed for Hibana. She's just less clunky now. You can just go dunk, dunk, dunk. I forgot how much this game genuinely hooks me when we do stuff like this. Like, oh, if they can land a good mid-season balancing update as well on top of this, then they would truly seal their word, because so far it's looking good. They are living up to their statements here. Now, she still has the same amount of Cairo pellets, but she can shoot them faster, and it feels nicer. It still takes the same time for detonation, obviously for balancing reasons. It's just so much cleaner, though. It's an incredible change. But we're not done here with Hibana. She has been given claymores. Oh, as well as this, she also has the new DMR. I know I mentioned that a minute ago, but yeah, she has the new DMR. But maybe you don't like the DMR. Maybe you prefer her Type 89 assault rifle, which she's always had. Well, there is now less recoil on this weapon as well. So much love has been given to these hard breachers, and although Ace did have to take a bit of a step down a little bit, he still has his strengths, he still has his perks, and he's still going to be just as valuable as the rest of them. This right here is the quality of balancing that we've expected from Ubisoft before, and it's been a bit absent for a while. This is very well done. There's been thought put into everything. It hasn't just been nerf this, buff this. There's rebalancing going on as well. This is genuinely great, and I think a lot of you can agree with this. Right, I can't believe I waited for 15 minutes in this video to say this, by the way, but are you ready for this one? Castle barricades can now be electrified by Kaid's electro claws. Do you want to see the note I took when I learned this? I know visually it kind of doesn't really make that much sense. I mean, it kind of does, it kind of doesn't. It works if we want to push it narratively. It does work. It can work, okay? It's not out of the picture. May I remind you, Thatcher did get the Thunder Gun this season. But that being said, this is a huge buff to Castle, which he needed. And if you did watch the reveal, something Joshua Mills did say here is that they truly want to buff these operators who lost their scope. They are very clear on not returning to the ACOGs on these operators, which is a good stance. It's a very good foot to put down. And if we can get buffs like this for Castle instead of a scope, I think that's what we should be focusing on. And I'd love to see the same level of care go to other underperforming operators who also lost their ACOG, like Rook, for example. But now you can double down on the protection of Castle barricades by bringing a Kaid. A Hibana pellet will be destroyed by this. You know that strat on Clubhouse where you castle all of the gym window, the master window and stuff like that, and you typically would bring a Hibana to counter that? Well, say goodbye to that unless you deal with the Electric Claw. I know you do have to dedicate an Electric Claw to a castle barricade, but smart gadget placement and X, Y, and Z, it's a great buff to Castle. This is genuinely insane. I was not expecting this. Right, I have buttered you up with all these buffs we're going to be getting. We are going to have to look at a slight nerf to Aruni. I wouldn't say this is a targeted nerf. This is more of just a consistency cleanup. The same thing they kind of done with Mute, and I think this one is valid as well. So basically, when an Aruni gate is now EMP'd, instead of it automatically coming back online once the EMP effect is finished, it now goes into the exact same state that it would be if the gate was burned, meaning that you have to manually shoot it to turn it back on. I know some people may see this as a nerf, but I understand this. Why was it more viable to throw an EMP into an Aruni gate rather than disabling it? That kind of went against everything you learned about using EMPs to disable electronics. Now, there is a bit of a difference here as well from my testing. I don't know if this part is intentional or a bug, but once you EMP the Aruni gate, not only is it disabled for the 15 seconds from Thatcher, and I'm not talking about impact EMPs here, because remember they have a quicker recovery rate, they're not as strong as Thatcher's one. But when Thatcher disabled this Aruni gate for 15 seconds, the reactivation target didn't immediately come back on when the disable finished. It then went into its down state that you would get from someone burning it. I hope I'm explaining this well, because it can be a bit confusing here. So basically what happened was the EMP done its 15 seconds disable state, then when it was done, the Aruni gate went into its own disable state to then prepare itself for the reactivation. So it was 15 seconds plus the Aruni effect as well. So that means that Thatcher is a much better way to deal with Aruni gates than simply throwing it in the laser. If that last part there with like the extra time isn't intentional, I think it should be, because that puts Thatcher way above any other way of dealing with Aruni, which he should, because that's a dedicated counter rather than throwing a flashbang into it. You can still throw a flashbang into it. Many ops should have the option to do that, but if you're going to dedicate an EMP to it, you should get a longer effect. I think this is great. And again, I don't think it's massively an Aruni nerf. I just think it's more of a consistency cleanup for an effect. Right, you still with us? Because we have more. Terrorist Hunt is back. Well, they're not calling it Terrorist Hunt. I don't know why. Call it Terrorist Hunt, or if you don't want to use the word terrorist for marketing reasons, I guess I get it. Call it T-Hunt. We all know what it means. They're currently calling it Clear House. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Please change this. But the mode itself is actually really good. Now, think of T-Hunt with extra customization. If you want the stationary dummies that we've had before, you can turn them on. They're not removing that thing. But the main thing here is the Carries Legion. That is what they're pushing for in this mode, and that is the best way to play it. Not only do you now have Carries Legion soldiers on the map, they now move around, they're aggressive, they shoot back, they're smart. You have to remember, the AI in this game has been worked on for about 2 or 3 years now. We now have AI teammates in the training mode, and we'll talk about that after this section or later in the video. But these AI Carries Legion soldiers are much smarter than the White Masks were, and they provide a very similar thing to what T-Hunt did prior to its removal. A warm-up mode. Enemies which aren't stationary bricks which are easy to kill. You can make them easy, you can make them hard, there's customization. It has automatic respawns on and a second section built into the game that will quickly just refresh and then start the game again quickly for you with these new settings applied. You can turn the minimap off and on. You have infinite waves. You can change your operator mid-round just by pressing, well, for me it's 7 on keyboard, I'm not sure what it is on console. But you just change your op mid-round, you can keep going. This is, by all means, an advanced version of Terrorist Hunt with more customization using the Carries Legion. I think they should double down on that fact and just call the mode Terrorist Hunt once more, or even Carries Hunt. But if you were a fan of Terrorist Hunt and what Terrorist Hunt provided, this mode will be that for you. Much better than training has been ever since they introduced the whole dummy stuff. The enemies are smart, the enemies fight back, the enemies put up a fight. You can customize them, you've got freedom of the player. It's quite sandboxy. It's absolutely incredible to see this, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy here. May I also add, the clips you will see from this Carries Legion mode, as well as the other training modes, there will be a new minimap at the top left of my screen. Now, this is only in these modes. These are not in the core gameplay of Siege. They don't really give any information other than where you are on the map. So honestly, I wouldn't really be against this being in the core mode of Siege for new players to learn maps. It doesn't give you an advantage. It truly doesn't. It's just to help you understand where you're going. And if people have issues learning maps in this game, this is what this is for. This is why it's in the training mode. It's actually a very clean mini-map. When you change floors, it will automatically change for you. I do think them only being in this mode is a test for players to see if they would like it in core Siege. I think as long as it doesn't reveal key information, like if I'm shooting, I don't want to appear as a red dot on the map. Siege isn't that type of game. I think we all agree there. But if it's only for you as the player to see where you are on the map and nothing else, I see no issue with it coming to the core game mode. People like myself, we turn it off. It'd probably be annoying to have it on the screen for us, but if it helps players, it's good, and I think it fits in the training mode. Like, this is going to help players. It's very clean, it's very well done. I like it. But just in case you didn't hear me the first time, this is only in the training modes, which includes that new Carries Legion Clear House thing. And to tie all this up, in the training mode, you now have AI bot teammates as well, so you can play against 5 AI defenders with 5, or I guess 4 AI attacking teammates, and just play a game of Siege. You don't have to worry about affecting players online. You can learn at your own pace. Not every operator is in this mode yet, but I mean, Thatcher is. If you want to try the new Thatcher, he is in the mode. It's been great for making content for this because I can show off Thatcher and I don't have to worry about trying to get 9 other content creators on, especially when we do have limited time. So if you're a new player, you want to jump in, learn at your own pace, don't want to be shouted out by people, and just take your time, chill out and learn, this mode is for you. Right, let's get into the maps. We have 3 map changes this season, 2 of them being your modernization, which we've seen as a trend now, and 1 of them being a full map rework. You've already seen that a lot in this video, but that is of course Fortress. Initial impressions, as someone who liked the old version of Fortress, this was the first map I ever hit Diamond on back in the day. That's a throwback. I like it. I think it's very good. Majorly, a lot of the map is still intact. If you know Fortress, you're gonna recognize a lot of this map. Many of the changes have just been reducing hallway sizes, removing useless stuff, and just streamlining the map. I guess the major change here is that the courtyard area is now exterior, introducing a small balcony and allowing some rappel points, as well as linear pushes below. It is definitely going to allow for a lot of creativity on pushing from this side of the map. One of my favorite changes, which I've already found, has been by the bunk side of the map, where you used to have a hallway which went around the side of the site itself. Well, now that hallway's been removed, and there is now an exterior wall here, with the bit where the hallway used to be now part of the outside, which makes this a much more interesting bomb site to attack, because now you have an exterior wall, and then you'll get your bandit and Kaid plays, and then this allows for pinch pushes from hallways from the back and everything. I think this is going to be the preferred bomb site, and I really like what they've done with it. So yeah, a lot of the map is still very familiar, but it's been done up very good, tidied up, streamlined, a very good example of what a rework should be. And if you missed what I said at the start of the video, not only will this map be in the casual playlists, it will also be in ranked and Pro League. I don't know when it goes into Pro League, but it is confirmed to be in Pro League. Oh, and they also removed Emerald Plains from ranked, which is very cowardly in my opinion. I don't agree with this. But on the topic of maps, let's move over from Fortress, which looks great. We also have 2 more map modernizations. One of them is Skyscraper. This map looks beautiful. You've got the warm colors, which we've known to expect from this map, and the theming which is around it. It looks great. There's not much to say here. I need to do more run-throughs to learn where more of the gas pipes and everything are and everything like that. It's Skyscraper. It looks beautiful. I especially liked how karaoke looked with all the lights and everything. I thought that was very fun. Yeah. It looks great. This is what I've come to expect from the modernizations we've been getting, and this is the quality I've come to expect. But on the topic of quality I've come to expect, we then move into the theme park modernization. And listen, I don't know if this is a bug on the version I have played, and I don't want to hold back here, but in my opinion, this map looks horrendous. It does not look good. Don't get me wrong, there are some areas which do look really nice, especially the cache side and stuff like that. The colors work really well with the different hallways. There are some rooms which genuinely look beautiful. I'm not saying all of this looks bad, but specifically some of the hallways and especially the outside area, it is so overblown. Just look how overexposed and saturated and bright this is. Can we please stop lighting rooms with these dentistry lights? That does not look good. Again, there are so many good rooms in here, but I don't want to point out the pattern here, but I do. The rooms that do look good are the ones that are darker. These ones with these overblown headlights look terrible. And one of the things I praised Skyscraper for there was how nice and warm the map felt. It felt like it fit the theming. A lot of this does not feel like it fits the theming of an abandoned theme park. I'm not saying you have to make it a night map, but can we at least turn the lights off? One of my favorite things I've actually done is, if you don't know, the EMPs, both the Impact ones and Thatcher's ones, do turn off the lights in the rooms. And when you go around this map turning off some of the lights, they look so much better. So yeah, it does show signs of some good stuff on this map, but the quality of how this looks is nowhere near the quality of the other modernized maps in this game. And I'm truly sad to say, I don't think this was good. I genuinely do not think this is a good modernization. I would like to assume that some of it is bugged, but I don't think it is. There are some great rooms, but there are some terrible rooms. I think this should not be the final product. Respectfully, it's not good. We don't need these rooms which are brighter than the sun. Clubhouse has a similar issue when it comes to the stock area. These rooms feel much better when they're lit with colors and a bit of darkness, but still visible light. I don't know. For what has been a very strong start to the season with a lot of incredible content, this has been a bit of a damper in my opinion. I don't want it to take away from every other great thing that's coming this season, and you may disagree with me, that's fine. But personally, this doesn't look good. Just drop the bright middle of the summer aesthetic. darken the map a bit. It fits it way more. But yeah, don't let that criticism take away from how good Fortress is and how good it looks, and the same with Skyscraper. I just don't think theme park's a good job. Right, let's move over to matchmaking. With Year 10 Season 4, ranked matchmaking will now take into account both visual rank as well as your hidden MMR. Currently, it's just your hidden MMR. That is why you'll typically see lobbies which will have golds, champions, and coppers in it, because yeah, they have similar hidden MMRs, but their visual ranks are all different. This season, it's going to matchmake your hidden MMR, then it's going to, on top of that, matchmake your visual rank, so your lobbies should look more fair. If you're a gold, you should be in like a lobby full of golds. If you're a diamond, lobby full of diamonds and champs and maybe an emerald or something like that. I, of course, can't say much on it. I have not played it, neither of you. That's just what they've said. Hopefully, it ends up good. I also have to apologize. I don't have a lot of assets for some of the stuff I'll be talking about here as well. That's just how it is. We're getting testing grounds this season. This is a brand new permanent addition to the game on the menu, just like how you've got Core Siege, Dual Front. We now have testing grounds. Here, Ubisoft will implement stuff which gives us, the player, the ability to try and test stuff freely. Well, I say freely, it's going to be focused on stuff, but we have a lot of freedom there. The first one we are going to be getting is for speed and armor, where we will be given a handful of operators and have the freedom to change their speed and armor however we see fit. Here we can then play against other players, test this. If you want to make Gridlock a 3-speed, for example, I think that's something you can do. Not saying they should do that, and I think we can all agree Gridlock shouldn't be a 3-speed, but you can test that in this mode, and you have the freedom to do it. Don't quote me on this. I think this is coming mid-season, or I don't know, maybe? It will be in this season. That's important, and it does look pretty good. I don't have any assets right now. I am sorry. Talking about Shield Guard and the anti-cheat, there will now be 2 anti-cheat updates every single week, with a focus on faster bans. I'm not on the anti-cheat team. I can't give you more information. They said it better than I did, so if you want to hear what they had to say about that, you can watch the main reveal on Ubisoft's page. I'm also not going to say how I would do it better. Again, I know nothing about anti-cheat. I just know they're fighting an uphill battle, and I don't envy them, but it is nice to hear that they're going to be updating the anti-cheat twice a week now, and hopefully this can show success. Sorry, I don't really have much to say on that, but I don't know how an anti-cheat works, and I'm not going to act like I do. They are trying. I believe that. Yeah. Another thing with Shield Guard as well is that they're going to be focusing on recoil script detection, which is basically macros. They want to catch macro players, and this is a big thing on console as well. So they are focusing on that. They want to catch macros. Or you may know them as like strike packs, that sort of stuff. The esports tab will now have predictions implemented in-game, meaning that you can vote and win prizes like the weapon skin. You may have seen my videos and stuff like that. It all takes place on an external website, on Ubisoft's website. They want to, well, I say they want to, they're going to be implementing this now in-game in the esports tab. Just a very nice thing that's going to be implemented in-game, and that's how it should be. This season also marks the 10th anniversary of Rainbow Six Siege, where we'll be getting some free stuff, such as a 100 million player background card to celebrate the game hitting 100 million players. And we also got a teaser for the Year 10 event. Now, I don't have any B-roll footage of this. I think they showed a night version of House. That's as far as I'm aware. But Alex K did previously tease that stuff such as Jaeger ACOG and Blackbeard's rifle shields may appear in this event. Right, so Dual Front has had some minimal and interesting changes. The first being, it seems like the mode is now back in beta. There's now a beta tag on Dual Front, which wasn't there the past 2 seasons. Alex K did say recently that there's going to be a big update for Dual Front in Year 11 Season 1, so maybe their vision has changed a bit and they feel more comfortable giving it back the beta tag for the time being. As well as this, you can see what the skin is going to be for this season for the Dual Front challenges. It's a really cool bundle for Zero. I really like this. I think he looks really cool. So yeah, you can see him on the screen. He looks pretty sick. For gameplay, we now have some new operators who have been shifted in and out as they do all the time with Dual Front. As well as this, there is a new assignment. Well, I say new. There's an updated assignment, and we've went back to the hostage one, which we done with Dokkaebi. But because narratively, Dokkaebi has been saved, this time it's a high value VIP. And when I went into a custom game and saw this character's model, I instantly realized this is actually the New Horizon high value target we saw on the Keres Legion's board. So there is a bit of narrative here, even though it is not a brand new assignment. This character, this high value target hostage, is one who is on the Keres Legion board and is tied to a company known as New Horizon. Will his story and stuff extend beyond this? I don't know. As well as this on Dill front, the minimap has had a bit of an update at the top left. It does look a bit more slick now. I quite like how it looks. And the initial prep phase timer for when you spawn into the game is now 15 seconds instead of 30. The respawn timer is still 30 for the time being, but yeah, it doesn't look like they're giving up on this mode, and although this isn't a substantial update, we have been teased to be getting stuff in Year 11 Season 1, and yeah, honestly, interested to see where they go going forward. I think this mode still has a lot of potential, and they seem to think the same thing. Also, two other changes I've just forgotten to mention. There's more information on the location screen, so you can see where the sectors are going to be. They've also renamed the fronts to attack front and defend front rather than front A and front B. And as well as this, they've got rid of like the random team icons at the top of the screen and just made it clear how many points you have. It seems like they've just simplified it and made it more obvious what the actual objective is. Pretty cool in my opinion. I'm excited to see how this plays when I can actually play it on the live server. I'm also going to list off some other stuff I took notes of which may have not made their way into other parts of this video. There are now a bunch of new team colors you can choose from, one of them being purple, which is pretty cool. I don't think I'll give up my blue and orange just because that's very iconic for Siege, but you now have freedom to choose other stuff. This also applies to red pings now. Like, I think you all know how team colors work by this point, but now red pings are included in the team colors, so it's not actually a red ping anymore. It is in name. We're still going to probably call them red pings, but if I have my enemy's color set to orange and the enemy gets scanned, it's an orange ping for me now. Or if you have the enemy set to purple and they get scanned, it's going to be a purple ping. I hope that makes sense. So not only do we now have more team colors, the red pings are now included in those team colors as well. And if you actually look at the gameplay I'm showing right now, so are hit markers as well. I guess that helps though. You got to keep everything consistent. It will always let you know, okay, that person is an enemy. And a bit of a minor thing here, both Doc and Monty have new menu animations. I think they're the only two. Thatcher technically has a new one, even though it's his old one, just using the new gadget instead of the EMP, so I guess it's new, so we can count that too. But yeah, both Doc and Monty have new ones. I think it's only those two now, as far as I'm aware. And as far as I'm aware, I think that's everything to cover. There's probably going to be something hidden which wasn't in a patch note or something like that, which I've probably missed. But that's every major thing and everything as far as I'm aware, which is covered. Oh, we can also see the rank charms for this season, and oh, they're quite. Wait, is that a bishop? Like bishop? Like bishop? So be sure to let me know your thoughts about Year 10 Season 4 in the comment section below. I hope this was a good video. I hope it was easy to understand. As you can imagine, put a lot of effort into it. Didn't have a lot of time to make it. So let me know your thoughts. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. Have an incredible rest of your day. Stay tuned for more. And yeah, Operation Tenfold Pursuit is seemingly going to be the best season of the year. And I am excited. Catch you on the next one. Stay safe.